Zombie Chronicles was mid. After the lovely comments from last video, I thought the best thing I could do was stir up even more controversy. And look, I'm not saying that Zombie Chronicles is bad, by any stretch of the imagination. But I think in hindsight, and especially after Black Ops 4, the Zombie Chronicles should have been, and could have been, so much better. Zombie Chronicles was the 5th DLC pack released for Black Ops 3, which had 8 remastered zombie maps made for the Black Ops 3 engine. The DLC itself was released on the 16th of May 2017, which is unique for Call of Duty, because by that time, Black Ops 3 was not the current Call of Duty, as that was Infinite Warfare, which featured its own zombies mode. That should tell you what Activision thought of Infinite Warfare. The DLC itself didn't come with the Season Pass, so you did have to spend an additional £25, which also made it the most expensive individual map pack ever released at that time. Now, to say that Zombie Chronicles was successful would be the understatement of the year, because it broke every single DLC record up to that point, and is still getting bought by thousands of people to this day. A Zombies DLC on the best Zombies game ever, with the best zombie mechanics ever. How could anyone say that Zombie Chronicles isn't the best thing to happen to zombies? Well, the answer is... I remember watching the reveal video with Jason Blundell and JC Backfire, being excited to see what they were going to do next for zombies. And when all the maps were announced, I remember being very underwhelmed. I mean, Shangri-La and Shino Numa. Look at JC Backfire's reaction to Shino Numa being announced.
Shino Numa. Alright, there we go.
Now, I want you to be honest for a minute. If you had the chance to make Zombie Chronicles, would you have chose these 8 maps? I guarantee you there is not one person that would have chose these exact 8 maps. I think the bare bones maps are where Zombie Chronicles makes its biggest mistake. Not only in the selection, but the way they handle these maps feel very strange to me. They completely remove the atmosphere and feel of these maps, especially Nacht and Verrückt, because when you were playing these maps, you felt genuinely scared. On the original version of these maps, you would celebrate getting to round 20, but on Black Ops 3, if you didn't get to round 20, then you might as well never play zombies again. Also on these 3 maps particularly, Gobblegums, Perks, Pack-a-Punch and alternate ammo types completely ruin the atmosphere of these maps. And look, I dabble in a bit of Natter and Totem from now and again, but the atmosphere of these maps is what makes these maps so good, because if you remove the atmosphere, none of these maps really hold up. If you actually take these 3 maps at face value, they're actually kind of bad. I mean, when was the last time you actually played a game of Nachter and Totem, Verrückt or Shino Numa on any version of Call of Duty? The Black Ops 3 systems on these maps specifically hinder the maps, they don't improve them. Now the Black Ops maps are a bit different, but still have the same kind of issues. Now Ascension and Kino are very similar maps on Zombie Chronicles. Kino probably does deserve a spot in Zombie Chronicles, as it is probably the most iconic zombies map. However, I don't think we needed Kino and Ascension, because they both play the exact same way. And whilst Kino is far more iconic than Ascension, Ascension does have an Easter egg. However, it's so mundane and basic, calling it an Easter egg flatters it. And therefore, Ascension shouldn't have been in Zombie Chronicles because it doesn't offer a unique experience like some of the other maps do. Moon has got a really good Easter egg that was at the time groundbreaking. It was also the most pivotal zombies map of the time, and therefore it probably does deserve to be in Zombie Chronicles, but only on that alone, as the actual map itself is kind of terrible. A layer of challenge is also removed from Moon with the use of Gobblegums. Getting Judge and Speed Cola on Moon on Black Ops 1 was really difficult, but now with Perkaholic on the house, raindrops, the whole point of going to Area 51 is kind of made redundant. Now Shangri-La, while I appreciate what it tried to do, is probably the worst map ever in Zombies history. The map is small and confined and doesn't really reward you for playing well. There's nowhere to train and it's just really a bit of a terrible map. Whilst the Easter egg is cool, I don't think Shangri-La really should have been Zombie Chronicles, as I feel like it's a very polarising map, with people either loving it and hating it, which means there's probably about an 80% chance that you've never even played Shangri-La more than 5 times on Zombie Chronicles. So basically, Shangri-La and Moon are very polarising maps, and people can kind of love them or hate them, and that isn't really what you want in a DLC for zombies. So I think whilst Moon probably was getting my Zombie Chronicles, I don't think Shangri-La would. Now, Origins, whilst I think it is a positive inclusion in the DLC, I will ask you this: does Origins on Black Ops 3 make enough changes from Black Ops 2 for it to be a part of the DLC? Is the Black Ops 3 version of Origins a significant improvement over the Black Ops 2 version? I will leave that up to you to decide. If you're not convinced by this point, I'm going to give you an analogy to kind of prove my point about Zombie Chronicles even more. Imagine that Call of Duty announced that they are going to remaster 8 of their older titles. There's no way they can mess this up, right? The first game they announced to be remastered is Black Ops 2. Everyone loves Black Ops 2, and though there might be a small minority of people that don't really like it, overall it's a fan favourite and everybody's happy that Black Ops 2 is in the pack. The next game they announced is going to be remastered is Modern Warfare 3, and though it is definitely the most popular Call of Duty of all time, it kind of lacks on a lot of features and gets kind of repetitive after a bit, but because it's still a classic, you can kind of understand why they added it into the pack. The next Call of Duty they announced is going to be remastered is COD 4. Whilst the game was innovative at the time, and it still has some features and things to do that's quite fun, it doesn't really hold up anymore. It still has a few features, or lack of features, that kind of brings the whole game down. Again, it's probably a classic and deserves to be on the list, but there will be a large contingent of players who probably won't end up playing this game very much. The next Call of Duty announced is COD World War 2, and whilst people did enjoy it at the time, it was kind of a bit safe, and sure, it had cool features like the headquarters. However, it wouldn't be unfair to say that most CODs do what World War 2 did, but better. The next 3 Call of Duty they announced are COD 1, 2 and 3, and whilst you kinda get why they do it, to be honest, you're never gonna play them. You'll play them maybe once or twice each and then leave them, because they're so lacking in features that what's the point of really playing them over the other ones like Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 3? They're kind of only there to fill up the DLC, because the original experience you had with those games is kind of ruined now, and so they don't really have much else going for them. And the final Call of Duty that they announced is Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, whilst there'll be a few people that enjoy Call of Duty Ghosts, it's fair to say that most of us don't. It just wasn't that good, and even at the time when it was released, people knew it wasn't that good to begin with, so why they decided to add it was kind of a mystery. So, with this hypothetical game, would you be happy with the 8 games that they have given you? Or would you ask, where's Black Ops 3? Where's Modern Warfare 2? Where's World at War? That is kind of the point I'm trying to make with this video. Zombie Chronicles is just a mix of okay, bad, and really good maps. But the question is, what would my Zombie Chronicles look like? There are 3 maps that I would put in from the original Zombie Chronicle. Nacht, because it is the first map, and so I think it gets away with some of the things that Verrückt and Shionuma don't get away with. Kino, because it's definitely the most iconic map, and it is the map that a lot of people will buy the DLC for in the first place. And Origins, because it is probably the best map on the DLC to begin with. The first map I would add is Town, because I think that Town is just a better survival map than Verrückt and Shionuma is. Town is a lot more fun to play than Verrückt and Shionuma, and I would like to see a Town remastered in the Black Ops 3 engine, because the custom maps of it are really good, so a Trailmaze one would have been so much better than Verrückt or Shionuma. The second map I would have added is 5. 5 is hard like Shionuma, but it isn't stupid hard, and it still has a lot of fun things on the map that you can do without it being borderline impossible. 5 is challenging in a fun way, whereas Shangri-La is challenging in an unfun way. I think the potential for a 5 remaster would have been so much better than what we did get with Shangri-La. The next 2 maps I would have added are Call of the Dead and Mob of the Dead. And whilst we did get these maps in Black Ops 4, these were remakes, not remasters. Call of the Dead especially was made before Shangri-La, so it can't have been any more challenging to make a Call of the Dead remaster than it would have been a Shangri-La remaster. Mob of the Dead, whilst it probably would have been a lot more challenging than some of the other maps, it has less features than Origins does, and they made Origins perfectly fine. so it's not out of the question that a Mob of the Dead remaster should have been on Zombie Chronicles. Now, the final map, obviously people would have probably wanted Die Rise or Transit, and whilst I think this would definitely be the best outcome, it's probably not very realistic that either of these maps would ever have been remade, especially because these have not appeared in any games since Black Ops 2, whereas maps like Tour of the Dead, 5, Mob of the Dead have appeared since. And the last map I would have added is actually Nuketown. Even though it's not the greatest map in the world, it still does the survival experience better than Verrückt, Ascension and Shinonuma, and they once again added Nuketown later into Black Ops 4 anyway, so I think that Nuketown would be the final map of my Zombie Chronicles. I want to know what your ideal Zombie Chronicles would have been, so make sure you comment that below. So overall, Zombie Chronicles is mid because of the terrible map selection. Most people only stuck to 3 or 4 of the maps that they made, and it's clear that some maps got far much more love than other ones did. And that's it, so thanks for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.